Morning all, it's almost 7:20, still to come after 7:30, all the latest traffic, travel, news and weather, plus sport headlines with the latest news on the big Man City bid for AC Milan's Kaka. £100 million they're looking at. Hasn't been confirmed as yet, but on the subject and all things monetary.
At 7:45, ideas to get out and about around Greater Manchester. But first, our debt buster, he should really have a cape, shouldn't he? Don't you agree? Do a twirl. Our debt buster, Richard Fenton, you can twirl without the cape if you want, is with us this morning. He'll be here every Wednesday to help you with your credit crunching positions.
I've got hold of the wrong end of the stick. I thought it was just busting this morning. Sorry about that. I'll leave that there.
He saw your slur earlier, Byron. Yeah. You can dust for us as well if you like.
So these these are credit crunching positions that we want to... That's what you said.
Did I?
Yeah, I'm just taking a mickey. Okay. Problems.
You can have positions of credit crunch, surely.
You can. We were flippantly having a bit of fun with the fact that David Bowie is responsible for the global recession. Could you explain the story? I tried it and I was rubbish.
It's quite an interesting angle, and it does fit nicely with the old credit crunch situation. What Bowie did back in 1997 is something called securitisation, which is really a job lot sale. He basically took his entire backlog catalogue, and instead of earning off the royalties, he decided he wanted the cash now so he could enjoy the funds and have less stress about worrying whether his records are going to sell. The banks did exactly the same thing with their mortgages. Now, it's not new, securitisation, but what was new was the volume and the type of products that they did that with. So it was subprime, which meant it was very, very risky, and the volume was absolutely phenomenal, particularly given that the US was lending out to people that had no incomes, etc. But of course, when they resell that, they're not telling anybody that you're buying a very high-risk product here, and everything collapsed. So it's a bit like Bowie doing exactly the same thing, and everybody all of a sudden deciding they don't want to buy David Bowie's records anymore. So the people that buy his advanced catalogue lose out in the same way that the banks lost out.
OK.
OK, well, that's all right, confirm that. So he is responsible, it's his fault.
It would appear so, yeah, it would appear so.
OK, so Richard, we're in January. It's probably like the darkest month as regards to people feeling kind of a little bit down upon themselves. Even harsher, the fact that people are losing their jobs left, right and centre. Money really is tight. And you've come up with...
Too tight to mention, as Mick Hucknall said.
Again, responsible for actually the fall of music, I think, actually. But let's look at the list of ways to earn extra cash, because you've come up with a few ideas.
Yeah, we've come up with 5, what we're hoping is going to be fun ways to earn cash in 2009. The first one that we've looked at is registering as a TV extra or lookalike. Being in Manchester, we have... we'll come on to the lookalike in a second. I can guess where you're going with this one, to be fair.
Phil Collins.
No, Harry Hill is the one I always get.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you could just imagine that I'm now about to present a clip of a man tripping over a cat doing DIY whilst on a yacht, then you'll get what I'm saying there. The TV extra work in Manchester is quite abundant because we've got Granada down the road, we've got Coronation Street, Hollyoaks, Shameless. I was going to say Survivors as well, the recent series on BBC, until I realised that everybody died on that show, and therefore there was no need for any extras. But you can earn anywhere between £50 to £200 a day doing this kind of work.
Well, we did a story not so long ago of a homeless gentleman who actually got a job as an extra on the new Sherlock Holmes film made by Guy Ritchie, which is shot in Manchester. And so how do you become an extra? How does it work?
It's relatively straightforward. The good thing about being an extra is anybody can do it. You know, any shape, size, male, female, because you are just a person in the background. All you need to do is, you can go onto my website, we've got a couple of links to a couple of the agencies in Manchester, but if you just Google Film Extras Manchester, I think there's about 4 really good agencies within this region, and they all cater for people like Coronation Street, so you could find yourself having a pint in the Rovers with old Steve McDonnell fighting with his 2 lady friends there.
I've done it before. It's really good fun. There's a lot of hanging around sometimes, so I suggest you take a good book, but you're getting paid, really, to perhaps go on the set of your favourite soap or whatever it is. It's interesting.
It's a great talking point as well, you know, if you're in the pubs with your friends at the weekend.
Now, my brother-in-law's dad is a huge Manchester United fan. Good morning, Mark, if you're watching. Huge Manchester United fan, and he was working for a long, long time with one company, decided to take it easier, and is now working, got a couple of jobs, but he's one of them, which is a steward at United, at the Theatre of Dreams, helping out on the matches.
Yeah, again, Manchester's perfect for this kind of work. We've got 2 major football clubs. or 1.5, depending on where you sit. I am actually a City fan.
I was just about to say, thanks for saying that, because earlier Michelle said we have a big football team in Manchester. I was like, hello, try two.
Yeah, I was looking for the Blues badge as well, but it didn't appear. But yeah, obviously you've got City, you've got United, we've got Old Trafford as well, we've got the cricket ground, we've got several large concert venues as well. I think between all of these venues, if they ran at capacity, they hold something like 250,000 people. Well, of course, when those people are in situ, I mean, they never run together, but they need looking after, they need safety stewards. And agencies are
biggest entertainment complex in Europe is just there, the MEN Arena.
Just next door. And we get some pretty big names in Manchester. I think recently we've had Kylie Minogue last year. We've got some big names coming up again this year. We've got, I think we did a piece earlier on about Cirque du Soleil. That's coming into Manchester. All of these shows need people to look after the people going into the venue, coming out of the venue. And again, you can earn about 50, 60 pounds a day doing something like that.
And get to see the show for free.
Well, that's something you've got to bear in mind. If you're at a football match, for example, you've got to face the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of get the atmosphere.
If you're a City fan, don't do it at United. You don't want to be watching United fans jumping up and down every time they score.
Richard, you're back after 8 o'clock, which we can go through a few more of these, but one more, just to keep the audience guessing. Just one more of these top tips before we leave it.
Mystery shopper is a good one, which is something for the shopaholics out there. If you want to get out and about the shops but you've no cash to spend, what better way to do it than go out and spend somebody else's
Do you wear
cash?
like a trilby, a long mat, and something like a scarf wrapped
and
around your face?
And a newspaper with eye holes.
Meet on the bridge at midnight with a copy of Times wearing a red rose. It is very clandestine, yeah. It's very sneaky, as they say. But it's a great way to get out and get into the shops. And basically what you're doing is you're doing a customer survey for the big high street brands and filling in a little questionnaire. And you get to spend anything between £5 to £50 on a purchase, and then give the feedback to the store owners.
Do they provide you with the money to buy the item, and do you get to keep it?
Well, you don't get to keep the item, no.
Rubbish.
Essentially, they'll give you the cash, enough for the item that they want to buy. It's usually a specific item as well. It could be a new line. So if the store wants to test whether the salespeople are up to speed with what the product can do, how much the product costs, or if they're pushing the product, and they might want people to go into stores and people to be hit hard with the product. Just quickly on that, we've got a really good money-saving tip for coming from Tesco's this week. Great bargain on energy-saving light bulbs. It's going to be announced this morning. We've got the heads up on this first of all. 5 energy-saving light bulbs for 40 pence.
Really?
An exclusive, a scoop.
And there's been a big debacle about light bulbs of late, so thanks for that, Richard. And Mr. Fenton will be back after 8 o'clock with more debt-busting, not dust-busting tips.
You can do a bit of dusting as well. We can't afford the cleaner these days.
I'll get around the studio for 10 minutes.
Coming after this short break, we've got the latest news, traffic, travel and weather, plus all your latest sports news with the big news of Man City.
Caca.
See you shortly.